just in closing, what would you have done different? I mean, yes, you just changed, you just sort of said it, but in closing summary, what would you have, if you had Sunday all over again today and you still got that applause on number one, what would you have done different?
Yeah, I mean, I ended up winning 4 out of the next 7 events. I won 3 times on the nationwide tour, got my Battlefield, and then I think I won my 4th start on the PGA Tour. But you know, at night, I'll go back and I'll just preface this story with, so in 1997, I had a 1-shot lead in NCAAs. Last hole, our team had won, right? We had a 7-shot Pepperdine, right? And so
yeah, and your friend or our friend Sahith Begala is a member of my club here at Champions now, and he's our new hero at our club at Pepperdine grad.
And a great kid, just an awesome human being. But so I had a 1-shot lead. I drove in the bunker, I plugged in the fan, whatever. I chipped it out, and I made double on the last hole to lose NCAAs. And I called our good friend, rest in peace, Eddie Marins, and I said, "Mr. Marins, how do I learn from this?" And he was so helpful, and we went through like, all right. So I kind of took that same thing, and I ended up making the Walker Cup team that year, and had a great summer of '97 after a disastrous finish at NCAAs. So I wanted to know what I was going to learn from that day, right? Because I knew that no matter what ever happened in my career ever again, I had seen the best of it. Right? If I knew if I was in a last group of a PGA Tour event, well, I was in the last group of a major championship. If I was in the last group of a Korn Ferry Tour event, I was in the last group of a major championship. So, like, I knew that no matter what, I would be prepared for whatever was going to happen again. And I failed, right? I mean, so I went back.
Happens all the time to us, right? It happens to us all the time.
Right? It's managing failures. So I thought about it, and I went back and I said, all right, so here's what I'm going to learn from today. It's still golf, right? You still have a game plan. You can't press. I knew I was hitting it well. I knew I was doing everything, and part of my game was solid, except for my brain that day, right? I tried to do something that I didn't need to do. And
there was no stopping you, right? You were just, there was no, the caddy couldn't have changed your idea. You were going down the wrong track no matter what, right?
No matter what. And like if you looked at Tiger during that era, you saw guys, Tiger was always kind of there. Same with Jack, same with like what Scotty Scheffler's doing now. Like you're seeing, they're just going to stay steady and they're going to let everybody else make mistakes, right? You kind of start to see where players started to melt away when Tiger or Jack were in contention, right? They're like, no, you take it. Like, I don't want you take the trophy. Like, so
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't stay with you. You go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm going to, oh gosh, I just bogeyed 17 to let you take the lead on, the 71st hole. I've led for 71 holes, but there's Tiger and Jack, and now Scotty's doing the same. But so I think that's what it was. It's like, you go control things that you can control, whether that's in your club championship or whether that's you focus on what the golf course is providing you, what you need to do, what the proper shot is, and never try to do something unnecessary. And that's what I did on Sunday. And those next 4 wins, like I just hung around. I took advantage of when I needed to take advantage of, whether it was a par 5 or a wedge in my hand with a receptive hole location or whatever. Like you do what the golf course is dictating and what your game plan has been set up to do. And that's the one thing I didn't do. And that's the one thing I did coming down the stretch. And, I was playing so well at the time that I forgot that, hey, you know what? If I aim away from this hole, I've got 4 more times where I'm going to have a birdie putt. Maybe this isn't the time, right? So,
well, as good as you putt. I mean, you putt. I mean, you remind me of David Duval, your stroke and everything. You putt so well, but I think you just gave yourself your game plan for this week, right? You at the beginning of this call, you weren't sure what's going to happen this week, but even so, all the things that happened to you at Pinehurst in 2005. When you walked back into that locker room and you went back to the Korn Ferry, all those players, it wasn't for nothing. All those players knew that you led the U.S. Open through 3 rounds, and they might have done exactly the same thing you did, but they just never got themselves into the lead. So it made you grow as a player, and that's probably accumulated to the 4 wins and what made you today. And that's why you're a part of the history at Pinehurst. And I want to thank you for coming on and talking about it, because it was important to me, and I didn't even know you very well. I was watching that, and I was so aware and so conscious of what you were going through, because I was maybe a couple years in development, maybe 5 years ahead of you in development. You were as good a player as I was. I mean, it's just the way the cookies crumble. But I never led a US Open, never even been near it. But
well, thank you for saying that, but I was not as good as you were, to be honest. Thanks, bro. But I appreciate it. But no,
well,
you're a legend, my friend, and thank you for even saying that. But no, it's kind of you.
Well, I'm glad you got to tell the 05 story, because it was very important, and there was a couple of pieces in there that I didn't know about, which was also great about the. Well, it wasn't great that you got robbed. It was great what Ron Reed told you in your book about the presentation. You were right there with Tiger, Michael Campbell. You know, that was his greatest win. That was something that was pretty special for New Zealanders. But at any rate, look, you have a great week this week. We're all pulling for you always, as we all were in 2005, and will be this week as well.
Thanks, my friend. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun week. It'll be fun to get out and see some old friends and go compete a little bit, no matter what happens. But
and you've got you already told me the game plan, so we're going to check it out with you.
All right, I'll do my best. There's a big difference between thinking and execution.
Don't miss agreeing with it on a par 5 with a 7-iron. That's rule number 1.
Noted. Thanks, man.